not Orlovsky or Marino, but Dan the Man Valari was the belle of the ball today at media availability after the quarterback turned tight end had 154 yards as a running back en route to leading this SU team in a victory over Pittsburgh in Yankee Stadium.
Like I said, the O-line not going to be able to hold for a five-step drop or a seven-step drop. Get those crossers out early. Get those slants out early. Get those 1 or 2 quick hit reads. Cut the playbook down for a guy like Garrett Schrader.
Exactly.
That his strength going into the season wasn't already progressing across the field. If you see that first read not open, work to your second read. If that second read is not open, take off. I agree with you in a way that we could definitely use some simplification of this offense.
SU comes into this game on paper with more elevated expectations than they had in recent matchups. But we know when these two face off, throw down the paper, throw out the records, and it's a chance to battle at high noon for a stake at ACC supremacy. Talking about the film room, some of the things that you've seen, like we smack dab in the middle of the season. What ways and what things have you seen from this team that you like the first 5-6 weeks, and what things do you want to see improvement for the defense for the back half of schedule? Josh Crawford here from Syracuse Fan Nation, and I'm bringing that 3-2-1 article format to the big screen just to give you a preview of this Army team coming into the Dome on Saturday. 3, quarterback Bryson Daly. Daly leads this rushing attack with 3 touchdowns on the ground so far this season. The junior from Texas, has just an average frame at 6 foot and a little under 200 pounds, but he's a physical runner in between the tackles and will be one of the few QBs in opposing matchup this year with Garrett Schrader that will be able to match the quarterback rush for rush and carry for carry. One thing that has been a positive, I would say, and that leads directly to you, the development of this linebacker crew. Talk about a guy like Leon that's really stood out this year. Stetson's been able to come back and look mostly like the guy he was last year. So how proud are you of that development? Is that something that you was intentional about before in preseason and during the season?
No, yeah, for sure.
University split aside. One of the reasons they got Jan out to the poll today was the lack of participation from younger citizens, specifically aged 24 to 35. For Jan, one of the most effective ways to get more younger voters out to the poll is through education.
You talk about the recruiting, it hasn't just been at Georgia. He's been at Temple, was obviously a little bit closer to his hometown, Camden, right across the tracks in Philly. A place that hasn't had a lot of high-level talent before. He was able to get 4-star and 5-star guys there. He did the same at Baylor, which can be the little brother to a lot of schools in Texas when you're talking about A&M, University of Houston to a certain extent. So him being able to attract tie-in talent to places that don't have the resources that you would have at Georgia, that bodes very well for me in terms of what he'll be able to do here.
Rise Above Poverty has been a godsend for the kids of the Syracuse City School District and providing essentials for them needed to get through the tough winters. However, for Sarge, Tyson, and Miss Mary, this is just one of the few godly things that make this barbershop such a special place. Q Sports Talk, Newhouse Afternoon, Twitch for the old heads, 97, Twitch for the young heads, 97.7 for the old folks that still listen to the radio. Back again, Marlo. I ain't came up with a creative name yet. It's your show. What you think the name should be, bro? A lot of talk about the renewed energy and veteran leadership on this team after last year's 6-game losing streak, and that needs to show up now, starting with a competitive show against Florida State and Tallahassee this Saturday. If not, the back half of this ACC schedule still looks light for this SU team, but it could be a sense of deja vu and repeated fate with this team living into bowl season at the end of this year.
You don't want it to be a situation where you just have to rely upon JJ and Judah to be your main on-ball creators. If you can get some temporary relief off a DHO, off a swing to where you get a 1-2 dribble pull-up or you get a 1-2 attack from a guy like Chris and Benny, that just makes their games that opens up the floor that much more for Judah and JJ. And I think that the more reps that they get with on-ball creation and crashing the boards, I think that they'll really fill out their skill set, and also, which the ultimate goal is for all of these guys, be able to show their versatility to these NBA GMs.
We talked a lot about football. This is a football show, and that's a big part of all of our identities. But how is Marlo Wax the person doing? How is Marlo Wax the student doing? It's a thing that a lot of people don't give that time and attention and not understand that affects the Marlo Wax the player. So how is Marlo Wax the person doing?
Josh Crawford breaks it down for us, the FSU defensive lineman.
The belle of the ball for Florida State D-line is Jared Verse, who nearly chose SU coming out of the portal from UAlbany in 2021. He's arguably the best defensive prospect in the 2024 draft class, and we'll get on the big board here to show you the different ways that he wins. Here he is, working against Will Campbell, an all-SEC tackle himself, and he works that stab chop to beat him clean. If you look at Verse's left arm right here, like you see, we'll get the little replay going, you see he throws it out
into Campbell's chest to get him worried about a speed to power rush or a long arm. And it's a violent chop with Versus' outside hand against Campbell's plant hand to get him going. He finishes the rep cornering Campbell to make sure he doesn't get washed off field, and he finishes the rep with the forced fumble and enters Jaden Daniels' nightmares. Let me back it up just a little bit. Here against Virginia Tech, his elite snap get off, you see him beat that tackle before he's even fully out of his stance. 3 steps, and he's already on that tackle's upfield shoulder right here. All D-line coaches know, you beat the hands, you beat your man. He bends that edge even to the level of the quarterback, and he finishes with the sack. This O-line for Syracuse struggled mightily against Clemson, the only team they faced with comparable talent to the Florida State. It's the Sunshine State, but Jason Beck and his O-line will have to ID where 5 and maroon is every snap to avoid a gloomy day for Garrett Schrader.